Commerce.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Thank you.
Akansh.
Sir, I call it Akansh.
Akansh.
Yes, sir.
It's a Hindi word or it's a word of some other language?
Sir, it's a Sanskrit word. It means complete. But my parents named it with the intention that it is a part. So I'm a part of God.
You are a student of economics.
No, sir, I'm a student of commerce.
Commerce.
Not economics.
What is the difference between the two?
Commerce and economics?
Yes.
Yes. So commerce deals with the business part of it, about business management, and it also has accountancy as a part of it, which is about how to maintain records, bookkeeping, and how to assess numbers. So economics is about the larger idea of markets, about demand and supply, and other concepts related to money and other things.
When Haryana was carved out of joint Punjab,
Yes, sir.
there were discussions that Haryana will not be a viable state. But today, after 30, 40 or 50 years, we see that Haryana is far more progressive than Punjab.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me 3 reasons for that?
So the first reason we can say is that it is closer to Delhi. So it allows Haryana to take advantage of its proximity, as 40% of Haryana is in the NCR region. So second, we can say that the governments took very progressive steps in terms of industry policy, and they were a bit more liberalized when compared to the policies of Punjab. Thirdly, we can say, so the people of Haryana have been lucky because of the geography that they don't have an international border. So Punjab was marred by insurgency and cross-border terrorism, so that also helped Haryana to grow better than Punjab.
What are 3 most important problems of Haryana which they need to address immediately?
So the first problem which Haryana needs to address is that its social indicators have not matched its economic prosperity. Be it the sex ratio, be it the condition of women in the villages, be it the maternal mortality rate or the infant mortality rate. So second, Haryana has not progressed in an equitable manner, so the growth has not been inclusive. For example, the districts near Delhi have grown at a very fast pace, whereas the districts like Fatehabad and Singh, which are a little farther away, don't have too much industrial development. And the third reason is we need to solve the issue of water, because the groundwater table is declining in Haryana also, and which will create problems for agriculture in the future. At the same time, we need to solve other problems for agriculture, like overusage of fertilizers and other things.
Can you help us or guide us to know why we should recruit you as a civil servant?
So can I take a second to think?
Huh?
Can I take some seconds to think about it?
Yes.
Okay, sir. There are 3-4 reasons which I can give for which you should recruit me as a civil servant. The first reason is, sir, I have a very optimistic attitude towards life. I am a person who handles big failures with humor and satire, so I don't lose hope in adversity. Second, sir, I can say that I have a very collaborative approach. In this generation, when people generally tend to feel jealous about others' success, I love to walk my own path, and I love to take everyone along. For example, sir, if my peers get ahead of me during the examination or during my earlier years in school, I would never feel bad, and I would feel happy and joy in their success. So I think that helps me take everyone along in the field. Thirdly, sir, I think I have a very distinct idea of civil services. I think, sir, the civil services is facing an issue when it comes to how it interacts with the people. Over the years, as I was also growing up, and especially if I'm coming from the state of Haryana, we have some sort of an idea attached to the civil servants. So we tend to place them in some ivory chambers. So I want to break that, and it is my endeavor to take public service closer to the people, to the actual public we are asked to serve.
In the context of fundamental rights, there is a philosophy which is known as philosophy of positive discrimination.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what it is?
So the philosophy of positive discrimination talks about the concept of equity more than equality. It says that if some people are lagging behind because of the circumstances in which they are, we should consider those circumstances and make special provisions for them. For example, sir, the Peoples with Disability Act has the provision of positive discrimination, like 3% reservation for people who are Divyangs.
Can you trace the relevant provisions in the Constitution about that?
Sir, Article 15 and Article 16 talk about reservation for the backward classes, and
Article 15 prohibits discrimination.
Sir, at the same time, I believe Article 15 Clause 2 talks about that the state shall endeavour to make special provisions for socially and educationally backward classes.
It is 15.2 or 15.4?
Sir, I am not aware of it.
What is 15 sub clause 3?
Sir, I am not aware of it.
Akansh, you're from Haryana and you studied in Chandigarh. Chandigarh is a union territory. Had Chandigarh gone to Punjab as was decided, when was it decided by the way, and didn't happen? Any idea?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think it was first decided by the Honorable Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, I believe in 1967, when the states were separated. So it was decided that Chandigarh should go to Punjab and Haryana should get around 10 crore rupees to develop their own capital. And then it was again decided, I think, in the Longowal agreement with Mr. Rajiv Gandhi as the Prime Minister. But sir, because Harcharan Longowal was assassinated, so the plan was again dropped.
What do you think is the success or failure of the union territory model in India?
So can I take 2-3 seconds to think about it? Okay, sir. Sir, coming to the success of union territory model, we can say that, sir, having direct supervision of the union government allows it to be free from the local influence, and thus many of the schemes have a good delivery. Secondly, sir, it allows this union to protect or to govern places in a better manner which are politically sensitive. For example, the case of Delhi, the NCT of Delhi, because it is the seat of the national capital, so it is a good model to have it as a union territory. Sir, the cons are also related to it because of too much handholding by the union. Sometimes the local aspirations are neglected and it becomes a sort of a babu shahi, which I think creates problem because the idea of democracy is taking governance closer to the people. So that is one challenge. Sometimes the second challenge is that a lot of issues which are dealt in the union territory are not what the people think are in their best interest. So that can create turmoil.
Okay, I want a very short answer to this. Do you think Chandigarh has deteriorated since the municipal corporation came into being as a result of the constitutional amendment, or it has enhanced itself in quality of life?
Sir, I think I'll say it has enhanced because quality of life is a larger idea. People's participation also enhances quality of life, so that is one thing which municipal corporation adds. Secondly, sir, municipal corporation adds a layer of checks and balance on the government of Chandigarh, so that is also an advantage. Thirdly, sir, since 97% of Chandigarh is urban, so most of the issues associated with Chandigarh are day-to-day decentralized grassroots urban problems. So sir, I think municipal corporation provides a very good platform to address those issues.
What do you say about a statement if I say that municipal governance in India is the weakest link of governance in India? What are your views?
So I think I totally agree with you that in terms of comparison with the other two forms of government, municipal corporation is the weakest because of the three particular problems we face, which are about the finance, the functions and the functionaries. Frankly, sir, I think municipal corporations lack in all three of them, and it has been our failure that we have not taken governance to the people in letter and spirit.
Article 370, the Supreme Court judgment recently, also impacts union territories and the government's decision-making powers vis-a-vis union territories. What are those? What did the Supreme Court say?
Sir, in my knowledge, the Supreme Court said that it was fine for the union government to declare a state as a union territory. Now, that the point of contention was that there was no legislative assembly present, so which is a requirement in Article 3 that a presidential request from the legislative assembly is required. So, sir, that is something which came into light because of the judgment that does the union government have the power to change the status of a state to a union territory? So that was the issue. At the same time, sir, I think the issue was about how a union territory is governed, but I am not very aware of it.
What are your views on simultaneous elections to the parliament and the assemblies?
So I think it has both advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are that it saves us a lot of time and effort. At the same time, a lot of times there is a model code of conduct in force which affects the quality of governance, so it does away with that problem. And thirdly, sir, the leaders have more time to dedicate to governance and less to political campaigns. But it also has its cons, sir, that it is very difficult to have a synchronized cycle because everyone has different times of election and there might be hung assemblies. Secondly, sir, there are fears that it can sway an election to a particular side. But if you ask my opinion, I don't think, sir, the idea is feasible because in a democratic government, the sine qua non principle is about representation, and I don't think it is wise to take away that principle for any other larger interest.
Tourism, if we talk of tourism in India, what are the drawbacks? How much more tourism can India generate? How will it help the economy? And lastly, what about the model of Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam? What can we learn from that? I know it's a long question, but...
Sir, I'll take that question in parts. Sir, the first thing is what can we learn is that, sir, I have got the opportunity to travel more than 20 countries. So I have seen that in a lot of places, the per se significance of the place is not that high, but they're able to market it very well. So that is something which we lack. Because, for example, if you take the state of Haryana, we have such a historical city known as the city of Kurukshetra, but we are not able to market it at an international stage. So that is something we need to learn. Secondly, sir, I think we need to learn that we need to develop plug and play infrastructure. Sir, for example, if we talk about the city of Kurukshetra, we don't have a dedicated airport to fly people from New Delhi. At the same time, we don't have large convention centers, or we don't have the good network of hotels to manage that. So, but we're doing that, and a very good step is happening in Ayodhya, where we are developing the religious tourism circuit. And we can always develop cities together in a circuit. For example, we can use Ayodhya and combine it with a city like Sitamarhi in Bihar and the Buddhist circuit with Kushinagar and Lumbini in Nepal. So that is something we need to learn. The impact of economy is that it creates a lot of service sector jobs, which are per se not the most skilled jobs, but at the same time they increase the income to a great level. At the same time, sir, at the same time, tourism allows us to increase wages at a very good level, and it allows us to fuel the vision of 5 trillion economy. And thirdly, we can say that it solves the problem of our youth, because India is a youthful country, so it allows a lot of people to be employed. And if we talk about learning from Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and these countries, so I think the most important thing which they have done is that they have facilitated the ease of travel for tourists. So, for example, visa-free travel, very cheap cost of visa. Secondly, sir, I think some sort of discrimination or some sort of misbehavior which happens with foreigners is also a deterrent. For example, we recently saw a badminton player come to India and facing discrimination. So that is something which I think they've managed to effectively channelize and utilize, that there is no sort of discrimination. And sir, I've also got the opportunity to go to Thailand and Vietnam, so I think they're focusing on cleanliness and restoring their pristine sites. So I think that is something we should do, and we're already moving in that direction with blue flag beaches and the Dharamshala declaration. So I think we are on the right step. I think that is
Two aspects of tourism I'll ask you to give short answers. Medical tourism and golf tourism. How can they help India in their tourism quest?
Sir, medical tourism, I think, is a double-edged sword. So we need to promote medical tourism with safeguards. So I think we should not prioritize on medical tourism too much, because that should not be our first thing of attraction, because we have other sorts. At the same time, but medical tourism can be good in India because the quality of healthcare is very nice in India, and at the same time it is not as expensive as the other Middle Eastern countries. So that can be looked into. For example, we have the Medanta Hospital in Gurgaon, which attracts a lot of international medical
Golf tourism?
Sir, I am not too much aware about golf and golf tourism, but I think we can develop good golf courses and at the same time have international competitions in India, which can attract both practitioners and competitors.
Okay.
India-Oman ties were in news this week. Can you just highlight geopolitical significance of Oman for India?
Sir, I think Oman is strategically located in the Middle Eastern region. It allows us the control of both the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz. So that is one advantage, because most of our oil imports are from the Middle East, and we've seen how the Houthi rebellion in the Red Sea can create challenges for countries. So Oman allows us to solve that problem if a need arises. At the same time, sir, we can use Oman because Oman has a lot of patient capital. So we can have a collaboration in that.
You just mentioned about Houthis. Which country do they originally belong?
So they belong to the state of Yemen.
Yeah, okay. And recently Israel-Palestine conflict is going on. Can you just highlight India's diplomatic stance on the issue so far?
So India has always been up for the two-state solution, and it has reiterated. And at the same time, so India recognizes the cause of Palestine and wants an immediate ceasefire to it. After initially abstaining from the vote, later India gave its vote towards immediate ceasefire and ending of hostilities. And so India's largest stand has been that peace, diplomacy and engagement is the only way forward.
Why is India so much dependent on Israel, especially in defense? Can you just highlight few examples which India has imported?
Sir, if I can recall, I think the drones of Huron and Predator are something which we import from Israel. At the same time, sir, Israel is very good in cyber technologies. So
Can you name the software which was imported, which created a lot of hue and cry in parliament?
I think it was Pegasus, sir, from NSO from Israel. Yes.
And COP28 has concluded. And there's a mixed response. Some are saying it's a litany of loopholes, some are saying it's the end of era of fossil fuel. What's your personal one positive and one negative takeaway from the summit?
Okay, sir. So the positive is that we finally addressed the larger issue of fossil fuels. And we have committed to moving away from fossil fuels, and at the same time we have also developed a loss and damage fund. So that is the biggest positive and a breakthrough. So if we talk about the negative, I think Again, sir, the recognition of common but differentiated responsibilities is not there in letter and spirit, and there has been no particular action about providing technology and funds to the developing countries and more to the small island developing nations.
Why is India objecting to phasing out of fossil fuels? Why is India is not comfortable with the word phasing out or phase down? Because we adopted a toned down version of transitioning with no clear deadlines or numerical targets.
Sir, I think India is at a stage where it requires fossil fuel for development, and much of the carbon budget has been taken up by the developed countries of today, and India's per capita emissions are also very less. So for these reasons, India doesn't agree with the phase out, because India is particularly requiring fossil fuels for immediate development, and it is very convenient for the developed countries to phase out fossil fuels now when they have developed while the other countries have not.
Recently, COVID cases are once again spiraling up. Can you name the variant which is once again making headlines?
Sir, I don't know the exact variant, but
Or it's some variant related to, and why these variants are emerging again and again, especially in case of COVID-19. So we have not seen in other viruses this theme making headlines.
sir, I am not following the exact issue, but I
Like
can
you
tell
say,
you-
like the Delta strain, Omicron, why are these emerging again and again? What is the scientific concept behind? Why?
Sir, I think viruses, the structure of viruses are such that they mutate very fast.
Mutation. Have you ever failed in life? If yes, what have you learned from it?
So I don't see failure as failure. But if you ask me in literal terms, I failed the mains exam last year. So I learned to improvise and to improve and to adapt as per the needs of the exam. If this is how failure is meant to be, that I have failed in some sort of debates which I took in my initial years, at that time I used to be a little arrogant when I used to fail, and I used to think that I was failed incorrectly. So that is one thing which I've learned, that sometimes we don't understand things in the short term, but as and when we grow up, we realize that no, we were not right at that particular time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Akansh. We'll call you back. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.